Welcome to Howay and say Newcastle United just drew 2-2 with Liverpool and conceded a last-minute penalty to draw the game. What did you make of that?
Well, the actual game itself was very good from Newcastle, to be fair. Honestly, when I woke up this morning before looking at the game itself, I had written Newcastle on. In fairness, you look next week, Tottenham away is a game you can definitely win on paper, and with us on West Brom anyway in a cup game midweek, I felt like with this transition period, new manager, new set of players, it would take a lot of time for it to get together, but no, got together after 4 minutes with the goal straight away. Newcastle from the get-go, they looked like the team that knew what they were doing. There certainly wasn't an amazing, outrageously good performance, but it was a team that kind of got the system fairly quickly. It was a team that knew what the plan was, and knew what the tactics were, and knew how they were going to play against Liverpool. It was just perhaps some parts of the execution. Certainly for me, the chances they had during the game had crucial chances to make a 3-1. That is a difference. If you don't get that 2-goal lead, which they couldn't do at 1-0 or 2-1, you always have a possibility of losing out on getting points in the game, and that's exactly what happened in the end. In a defensive point of view, I haven't watched the first goal back, but obviously a player has. You've seen it throughout the summer where Newcastle doesn't seem to sort of.
Yeah,
I think
Stur was kind of trying to tell someone to go, but didn't go himself and just give him a little bit too much time.
And obviously the second one comes from a Lewis Hall foul inside the box, but again, if you're putting a tackle like that in, it has to be perfect. It wasn't. Newcastle then, unfortunately, ended up dropping points in the game.
I think it was soft. I thought it was a soft penalty. Have you seen it back?
I haven't seen it back, to be fair, but my first impression was I felt like you've done enough to earn a foul, but again, Newcastle's not in that point of view if they're 3-1 up. They're not in that point of view if, of course, they haven't spent full extra time trying to time waste and get the extra money out of it. But look, you kind of had to accept it for what it was. Newcastle certainly had chances to win the game. They haven't took them, unfortunately, in the end. So although you might look at that decision making or that particular piece of play, but ultimately Newcastle should have wrapped the game up before that point.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Wissa had a couple of chances where it was kind of across the box, maybe tap-ins he could have made, and then the one-on-one chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame as well because Wissa was brilliant today, like very good performance. I felt this way towards him after Bayer Leverkusen, where not necessarily him in the final third when he's attempting to score a goal, but the actual build-up, teamwork clearly helping the rest of the team out, a lack of unselfishness where he's attempting to set up, and you've seen it for the Joe Willock goal. I mean, it was Sula for the first goal and Wissa for the second goal, where both players have just got the ball, have just dried with the ball and then set up the player. I just felt like, especially considering he's still getting used to it, he's had probably a poor season his point of view last year. Wissa just looks like a different player now. His sharpness there, his match fitness there. Ironically, for a striker, the only thing that's not there is the shooting. He was unlucky not to score, to be fair, that Alisson say it wasn't actually a bad shot, that one, but the rest of his chances were a bit all over the place, weren't they?
No, but he did look good today, I thought. He linked up play, he got on the ball, he was driving when he had to. It's great to see, and another player who looks like they've got that kind of confidence again, Elanga.
I know, Elanga. I like Elanga a lot. Of course, got that goal, and that's quite important for him as well, because you've got to remember that was 35 Premier League games going into this one. He's got 0 goals for Newcastle, so that's his first ever Premier League goal, and he got 4 minutes into a new season, so off to the best of the start for him, got that goal straight away. Again, you can see the ability there. You can see he's a player there that clearly sort of fits the way this new system's going to be under Mr. Howay. He's clearly getting at players. He's clearly got a bit more confidence about him, and he certainly looks like a different player last season. Look, is he this outrageous player that's going to take players on all the time? No, but certainly in terms of his pace, kind of getting at the opposition and sort of nipping away and getting these chances, he's certainly improving. Got his goal today. That was massive for him.
Well, under the new manager, it looks like they want to play forward. They want to exploit space. Elanga's surely that kind of player with the pace to get in behind that could have a good season. Well,
yeah, you're going to need this pace, especially in this high-risk, high-reward strategy. To be honest, by the end of this season, I'm going to have either no hair or I'm going to have grey hair, because every single match is going to be edge-in-your-seat stuff. And it's amazing from Newcastle in terms of a watching experience, because especially the attacking front, if they take chances, they're a dangerous team. They can beat anyone if they take the chances when they get them. And certainly today, Liverpool felt the pressure. They felt like they were under the caution. They felt like they were a team that knew Newcastle were there for a tough time against them. So in terms of our point of view, of course, on the flip side of it, you have to be quite good in the defensive point of view, and you have to also be able to soak in the pressure. And we just couldn't quite do that at times today. Yes, okay, certainly the back four and the goalkeeper had very good moments in the game, but I have to say Liverpool should have done better with some of the chances. Liverpool also probably should have been a bit more ruthless when they had those chances as well. So Newcastle, although this new strategy is going to be exciting to watch, it's a dangerous strategy at the same time, because if you don't take your chances, you're certainly going to be punished. I don't think we'll have many clean sheets this season, I'll certainly put it that way.
So the entertainers could be back.
Yeah, I mean, probably is the entertainers, to be fair, the way we play now. But I like it. It's just, you kind of brick yourself watching it, don't you?
So obviously the entertainers is score more than you concede, exciting forward playing football. What did you make of the forward today? Osula, what did you think of him?
I thought Osula was fairly good, especially in the sort of way Newcastle players now. Your attacking players have got to do a lot of running, and it was Osula, considering the moments he had when the ball came to him. Again, he drove all the way for the first goal when he set Elanga up, and I have to say, Osula for that first goal, wow, yeah. That was a very good piece of play to set Elanga up like that. Brilliant. Osula again, he had chances in the game where maybe he should use his strength a bit more, maybe he needs to bulk up a little more, but considering this is £50 million player, but off Sheffield United a couple of years ago, he's continuing a strong form from last season. That's the most important part, because I think people had almost called Osula this purple patch player. So far, again, he's reflecting that he is a good football player, so long may it continue, because I was impressed with him today.
And other players that I was impressed by were Miley and Sturr as your midfield too. What did you make of those two together?
Well, again, Sturr, Premier League debut, wow, against Liverpool. I wanted him to start today, he did start, and for 18 years old, my, he was a good football player, 18. I'm trying to remember what I was doing at 18, to be honest. I was 7 years ago for me now, and you see Yoane Wissa do that in the Premier League. I mean, I would love to know who Ajax has in their midfield, by the way, because how is he not getting an Ajax's team? Miley, of course, just come back from fitness, but again, he was quite good today. But across the board, I couldn't really say that it was a bad performance, to be honest. Maybe Barnes, but again, it's a system that doesn't really suit Barnes. He hasn't got the pace there, but perhaps I wanted a bit more from him, considering he's the experienced forward out of the four. I didn't think Dedic was bad, but I felt like, with the exception of a couple of moments from Lewis Hall, I felt like out of the defensive four, he was probably one that's been exploited the most by Liverpool. But as far as the debut goes, I thought he was pretty good at the same time, so I can't fault him for that. But honestly, mostly, if not all, the players I was happy with today.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the feeling from everyone leaving the ground. There was that optimism that, you know, they'd, like yourself maybe, they'd written them off before the game and then came out there pleasantly surprised, thinking, actually, you know, there might be a team in there this season, they might be able to go and compete with some of the bigger teams, because Liverpool are a big side, they have got quality. Does that fill you with confidence for the rest of the season?
Well, look, they need to bring the players in. Let's not overrule the fact that Newcastle needs signs. They obviously do. It depends who those players are. For example, let's say they end up getting Nico Gonzalez, which is the name they've been linked with the most at the minute. Obviously, they're a different team with him in there. Then you look at the fact that they're going to need a centre-half, because Byrne picked up what looks to be a potential injury for maybe a month or longer than that. So, again, you're going to need a centre-half there, especially when two of your four centre-halves are pushing middle 30s now. So they're going to need that. They'll have to get number 10, because they haven't got anyone, with the exception of Wissa, who's not a 10, Votamara, who didn't get a sniff today. In fact, Willock got ahead of Votamara, which says quite a lot about where he is currently at the football club. And then Willock, who currently was being discussed to move to Besiktas, but to be honest, I reckon that goal might have saved his career at Newcastle. I don't think they will let him go after that goal, especially how good it was as well from him. So that's kind of where things are. So they need a 10, they need a midfielder, they need a centre-half. They've got to get those deals done in the next 9 days. If they do, they're in a pretty good spot this season.
Yeah, totally. And just on that Willock performance, he looks like a different player.
Well, yeah, as far as the performance off the bench goes, considering you're being linked to a move elsewhere, I think he saved his career there. I don't think Newcastle let him go after that. And considering the likes of Willock and Murphy on Traumont contracts, they'll probably get off the new deal as well to make sure you get some value on them. Obviously, Pope's the other one who's gone. There'll be any future of Pope, I would imagine. So, look, Willock, I'm impressed. And to be fair, Murphy at the bench as well was pretty decent as well. So
put some good crosses in.
All the players are playing for the manager. They're clearly playing for players, and they're clearly playing to try and impress the fans. And I have to say, there's opportunity there, especially against West Brom. He's going to switch the team around. He'll be getting all the bench players in there. Votamara, huge opportunity. Murphy, huge opportunity. Willock, whoever it may be, they'll throw them all in there. It'll be Bamba, Troy, they'll throw a lot of them. So it'll be a good opportunity midweek against a team that should be beaten as well. So I tell you what, future is bright if they get the deals done. Let's not get carried away. They do need to get those deals done.
And that midweek game against West Brom is still quite important. I know he will change things up because of the game at the weekend, but that's still quite an important game that they've got to win, because you still need a good cup run.
Of course, yeah. Well, I want us to get to Wembley, so of course we're going to have to do well in the Cups. Look, it's a winnable game, obviously, on paper, regardless of what team you play. So that's the opportunity there where you can change the team around. That's the sort of game where you can test players out, see how they do, but of course ensure that you do end up going through to the third round. But you've got to be opportunity to do well this season. On paper, before the season had started, I had honestly written off Liverpool and Tottenham. Tottenham were crap yesterday. They were so bad yesterday. So I've got every possibility of going down there winning. If you do that, 4 points against Liverpool and Tottenham on paper, where the two teams that truthfully you would have looked at and expected to lose both of them. So they could get out of this rough start looking quite good. So if you go into the winnable set of games when you've already got the points that you need, then yeah, they could be pushing top 8. Of course, though, early doors, 37 more games to go. But if they play like that 37 more times, they've got every possibility. There are bits of danger signs there against the better teams, but if they play like that against the mid-range teams, they'll be fine and they get all the wins that they need to get this season.
Yeah, exactly. So, would you make any changes for Spurs? What would you like to see? I mean, Ramsey came on and Ramsey was pretty good. Would you start him, or is it the two younger two you think will look to start at the weekend?
Probably 6-team 11, to be honest. I mean, obviously, if I had my way today, I would have started Toure ahead of Barnes, but Toure didn't even play today, so he must have been keen on Barnes. Therefore, I can look at the team now, and I have to say the 11 there is the 11 that you're going to play. I can't think of anyone else. Maybe if you felt like you wanted Livermore in over Derek, but Derek, for me, has shown today that he's got every possibility of doing well in the Premier League. So, I think it's everyone's spots to lose. I don't think there's been any player today that's truly had a performance where they've lost the spot. I think all of them have kept the spot, and that exact 11 is probably the 11 I would play against Tottenham. I feel like you've got to do that.
Brilliant. Well, hopefully they go down there and get 3 points. Thank you very much.
Welcome, mate. Cheers.